Alright. So, let's share this, and then we go. And we'll take a look at the injuries as well. Grady Jarrett inactive? Damn. That sucks. Alright, let's take a look and see what we have. This slate is tricky. Definitely tricky. Let's see. I'll just go. I'm trying to go and just see the inactives. I guess we'll look at Ian Rappaport and see his. And so what he's got to say. Swift is active. Stephon Diggs is active. So there we go. Jacoby Myers and Brock Bowers inactive. Garrett Wilson inactive. So that's it from Rappaport. We'll see Schefter. Just looking at the injury report, just seeing if there's anything else before we get into it. Yeah, so it doesn't look like... can we get Indy? I want to see the Colts. Because I want to see if Kenny Moore is going to be playing or not. I don't see anything. Hold on. Are they the Colts in early game or late game? Oh, they're a late game. Oh, that's why. Okay. All right. Well, let's get into it then. All right. I was looking at the injury, so let's get into the slate. At least we have some of the news that I was concerned about a couple days ago, as far as injuries. What did I just see? Hunter Renfrow out. So, and that's the Washington news, as far as Deebo Samuel. That was going to suck if Deebo was... Thanks for that, Keith. The Deebo Samuel news was going to be pretty... I won't say slate breaking, but it would have been very tough, because I do think having Deebo out hurts Jayden Daniels. If he was in, Jayden Daniels is a great play. I still think Jayden Daniels is a really, really good play. Don't get me wrong. The mobile upside's there. You're facing a Dallas defense who's, their defense has been the worst this season, and Diggs is out. So obviously Daniels is in a really healthy spot. But having his top two receivers, and if you want to count Noah Brown, his top three receivers. But what that does, right, if we go and look at this Washington team, we go to the pass catchers. And we get value there. We get Luke McCaffrey at 41, Lane at 38, and Moore at 3,000. And Moore's kind of who I like. He gets on the field a lot. Obviously, he had, 13.6 last week in the showdown, but he's been on the field the majority. Luke McCaffrey has the touchdown upside as well, right? He's gotten a touchdown in 3 games, and they've pretty much been like a one-play touchdown. So if you want to go that route as far as value today, I'm fine with that. I like that as a punt. Obviously, if you want to get up to some of the guys that are expensive, like Taylor, CD, Justin Jefferson's getting some steam. So as far as quarterback, like, yes, you could play Jaden. Am I okay with Jaden solo? Yes, I'm okay with that. If you want to stack him with one of those guys and take a shot, that's a risk you're going to have to take. But I like Jaden. I think you could go solo. Mahomes at 7K. This one is interesting because I'm interested to see where the ball goes today. I think he set up really nice with Rice, with Worthy. He has Hollywood Brown. Their wide receiver room is very, very strong now if they could stay healthy. It's a very strong wide receiver room. The Emmanuel Wilson, see, that's the other thing. As far as injury news, is Emmanuel Wilson, then if Josh Jacobs is out, is 4K. 4K. So here's my recommendation here, because Wilson's in a great spot. Pierre Strong got, called up, so he's on the route, he'll be playing, or at least suited up. Emmanuel Wilson will probably be the guy to get a majority of the work. I won't say all, but a majority of the work, and he's going to be 4K. He becomes a great play if Josh Jacobs is out. So you get him at 4K. Obviously, there's, Indy, the Chargers. I love this game. Washington, Dallas obviously has a really high total. So I think you can go around and mess with your lineup a little bit. But just be aware today that if Josh Jacobs is ruled out, and there's a real possibility he's ruled out, I think it was a calf injury and an illness he's dealing with. The travel was kind of crazy. I guess they were waiting for 6 hours on the tarmac to take off. So there's a situation there. But yes, if Josh Jacobs is out, then Emmanuel Wilson, I think, is a really, really great play at 4K. But he is a late game swap, so we won't know that news until, what about 145, 150? So be aware of that. But yeah, Mahomes, I think if you play Mahomes, I'm fine with just a Mahomes Rice stack. Obviously, that's going to be really popular in cash as far as the Rice. Do you want to stack Mahomes with it? Fine with that. You could double stack it, and I'm fine with that. On the other side, if you want to throw in Michael Mayer, we just got news that Jacoby Myers is officially inactive. So the Raiders are going to be down Brock Bowers. They're going to be down Jacoby Myers. So Michael Mayer does seem like he's in a really good spot. So if you wanted to do a Mahomes, Rice, and then run back with Michael Mayer, I think that's a really good play this week as well. Justin Herbert at 6,400. I wanted to see the Kenny Moore update. Kenny Moore did not practice on Friday. So I'm kind of skeptical if he's going to play or not. If Kenny Moore's out, it's Kenny Moore and Javarius Ward out against this Chargers offense. So I really like a Herbert Lad McConkey stack again this week. Last week, right, we saw some pretty good numbers out of Herbert. Obviously, this doesn't entirely pay off, right? We basically need 20 plus points from a quarterback position. But his numbers, as an actual NFL quarterback, were amazing. 76% completion percentage, 264, and 2 touchdowns in that game. I think this could be a really healthy back and forth game. So I like Herbert at 6,400, kind of getting off of, Mahomes, off of Daniels. Dak is worth mentioning too as well. I think it's a really good quarterback slate. I think we could go a lot of different ways. I think with the Washington injuries, that are happening at the wide receiver position, it allows quarterbacks a little more spread ownership. I still imagine Jaden's probably the most owned. But like Mahomes is going to be played a little more now. People are going to play Dak. Like I said, I personally like Herbert a lot today. Caleb Williams is kind of the next guy at 5,800 I'm looking at. On at home against New Orleans, I think their team's in a really good spot. DeAndre Swift, dealing with some stuff there, but I think it's a really good opportunity for Caleb Williams in that pass game. So at 5,800, if you wanted to go that route as well, Caleb Williams has that upside of, obviously paying off at his price point. We're seeing Caleb Williams getting high in price as well, so probably not getting the full value there. I will mention Bo Nix. Bo Nix has been interesting to me this week. I like a Bo Nix Cortland Sutton stack. It's a cheaper stack. It's going to be lower owned, so I really like that one. And then if you wanted a total punt play to go, who can I double stack it with a quarterback this week for very cheap? And it's Spencer Rattler, 4,800. There's a real possibility he gets you 16 plus today. And if you pair him up with a Shaheed and Olave, I think that's a very fair play. It's going to be different. Obviously, Olave is going to get ownership, but if you throw like Shaheed in there, I think that's how you get different with the Saints. Moving on to the running back. The running back is kind of, I don't know if I'm the only one that feels this way. I feel it's very difficult, and maybe the Emmanuel Wilson stuff kind of makes it better. Jonathan Taylor's always going to be a good play. It's just now his price is the highest. I do believe this is the highest price that we've had on a main slate for a player. Puka Nacua was 8,700 last week, and I mentioned it when I was talking over this situation, where it's not saying that Jonathan Taylor's a bad play, and it's just like Puka. Like, I don't think Puka was a bad play if you played him. Obviously, the injury sucked, and there's nothing you could do about it. There's no, hey, I did my research wrong, or I missed something. But if you had Puka Nacua in your lineup, the rest of your lineup had to really, really pay off because of that injury. Jonathan Taylor is going to have a good game, but at what point do you need him to pay off if you're paying up for that 8,800 price tag? There's only a little bit of value at running back that I like. The Emmanuel Wilson stuff would be, game-changing if you wanted to go that route. But then you're also taking that risk of, having a cheaper flex that you can pivot to. So yeah, if you can afford Jonathan Taylor and you feel very confident with the rest of your lineup that they're going to perform, to get a Jonathan Taylor, go for it. I think if you wanted to, I liked Josh Jacobs. I really did. I don't know if I go that route anymore. It's just really, really risky. It's 7,800 to have that. Saquon Barkley, though, is 7,700. I think he's in a really good spot. I think this is a really, really good bounce back opportunity for Saquon. And if you look at the opponents he's faced, right, he's faced a bad Dallas defense. Only gets you 18.4 in that one. He faced a Chiefs defense that is, over the last few years, been a really good run defense. The Rams defense has been a really good run defense. Tampa Bay has been really good against the running backs. Denver has been pretty good against the running backs. The Giants is the only other skeptical one where I go, like that was tough. So I think Saquon's in a really, really good spot here against Minnesota. They're allowing 23.1 points to running backs. So to be able to target him against a defense like that, definitely solid with. Getting some exposure to Javonte Williams at 6,700. Obviously, if you don't want to get Dak, you don't want to get CD, you don't want to get Pickens, you don't want to get Jaden, you could go the Javonte route. It's the same thing with JCM. If you wanted to go either running back in this scenario, I'm fine with that. It's getting different, I guess. I don't think Lamb is going to be as high owned as we expect. So getting exposure to Javonte, JCM, whichever route you want to go to get some exposure in this game, I definitely think you could go that route. I I think for a game that has a 55-point total, where we're seeing one of the, I mean, I said it. It's like last year's Bengals for Dallas this year. Now that CeeDee's healthy, we really kind of get that to where you're getting Dak, you're getting CeeDee, Pickens, Ferg, Javante's had a great year, and their defense is just terrible. So they're pacing teams. They're going to have to score, 24 plus points a game to really be in a position to win. And on the other side, we get a Washington team that it just looks good with Jaden Daniels in it, but the injuries are concerning. So if you want to get exposure and get like a JCM and go that route, Dallas has been just as bad against the running game as they are in the passing game. Breece Hall at 6,300. This one is one I'm very much questioning. Next, because Carolina, I went into the year still thinking Carolina was a bad defense against the run. They've had their moments, but they've also had their moments where they're pretty damn good against the run. And maybe that's because Derek Brown is healthy this season compared to last season. But Breece Hall's in a tough spot. Obviously, Garrett Wilson's out. I expect Breece Hall to get a few more opportunities in the pass game today because of that. Their wide receiver room is just disgusting, just ugly. So with that, you should expect someone like Breece Hall to get a lot of work. I'm also concerned that the Jets had their travel issues to where, from what I understood, if you had an international game like that, you pretty much got a bye week to, kind of adjust and come back. But the Jets did not. The Jets are coming straight back from London. So there's a lot that I'm against Breece Hall with. It's just a risk for me at 6,300. Like, he has the potential to have these really, really good games where he gets, 19, 16, 21. But then he also has these games where he's going to get you 5, 9, and 5. Like, it's in that realm for Breece Hall. And the thing that's crazy, right? 0 touchdowns for Breece Hall this season. 0. So yeah, Judkins obviously I think is in a great spot. In that game, it's going to be an ugly weather game. So getting Judkins in my lineup I want Judkins in my lineup in a game like this to where Cleveland's gonna run the ball a lot. They're gonna use the running back a lot. Kamara, if you want to go Kamara, I'm fine with that. I think he's in a really good game script opportunity for him. Even if the Saints are down, he should be utilized in the passing game, which Spencer Rattler has involved Alvin Kamara in the passing game this season. It's just if the Saints' run game can get going. Obviously, Kamara's stats haven't looked the greatest while running the ball, so Kendre Miller kind of seems interesting if you go that route. But some of the values at running back, DeAndre Swift at 5,700, I'll mention him. And then the New England running backs at 52 and 5,100, I think they're in a pretty good spot as well. J.K. Dobbins, I forgot to mention him at 5,600. Doesn't seem like a lot of people are talking about him, but he's been pretty consistent as far as fantasy numbers besides last week in that London game. But he's 5,600. I think he's at a pretty fair price if you want to get those points. Wide receiver, CeeDee Lamb obviously is in an amazing spot against this Washington defense. Justin Jefferson's kind of interesting if you want to get different against Philly, to where I think Minnesota's going to have to pass the ball a little more. Jefferson's in a really good spot, in my opinion, at 7,600. If you wanted to get, away from the Lamb ownership and get different, you go that route. And then here's the thing. There's no one really, I'm okay with Rome in tournaments. I'm okay with Xavier Worthy in tournaments, but then we get to the 6K range, and that's where I start liking wide receivers again, like Lamb McConkey at 6K, Quentin Johnston at 59, Cortland Sutton at 59, Rashee Rice, obviously, if you're not playing Rashee Rice, you are taking a heavy risk today. He's going to be so highly owned because I believe on FanDuel he's 7,500. And anytime you get a player that's that much cheaper on a PPR site, versus half PPR. I mean, it is crazy. So Rashee Rice 5,600 I think is going to be just, you put him in your lineup and then you build around him. So 5,600 definitely going to be in lineups. Olave at 5,400. Trey Tucker now. I mentioned Trey Tucker in my GPP video, but with Jacoby Myers out, Brock Bowers out, he kind of moves to the number one pass catching. Him and Michael Mayer, I think, are in pretty good spots as far as a nice run back piece on Vegas' side. Michael Pittman at 5,100 with Josh Downs out. I think he's in a pretty good spot as well. And then we go down. I mentioned Hollywood Brown. I like him as a, another stackable piece on the Kansas City side. Shaheed, I mentioned him, 4,500 as a stackable piece with Rattler if you wanted to go that route. Iron Manor at 4,200. I think they're in a good spot as far as they're probably going to be down. The run game's probably not going to work because the Patriots are a really good run defense. So if you wanted to go, pretty much the number one target now on the team, who's gotten some pretty good value. Some pretty good value as a Tennessee pass catcher this season, which we haven't seen. You take Dak as a BB. It depends. If you are not playing Jonathan Taylor, I suggest then you're playing CeeDee Lamb. If you're playing CeeDee Lamb, I'm fine with getting a Dak CeeDee Lamb stack. I don't think you go CeeDee Lamb and Pickens. I mean, if you want to get really ugly in a tournament and hope that these guys pop off for, at 14.5, we need almost 50 plus points out of both of these guys. If you want to go that route, you can go that route. But I think if you want a solid number from a quarterback today, like Dak Prescott has put up some really solid numbers this season. Obviously, this is a division game, so it could get different. But yeah, if you're not playing Jonathan Taylor, I'm assuming then you're paying up at wide receiver. And if you're paying up at wide receiver, it's either CeeDee Lamb or Justin Jefferson. So if you're going the CeeDee Lamb route, I'm fine with going Dak, right? He's cheaper than Jane Daniels, so you can get different in that aspect. So I'm perfectly fine with that if you're not playing Jonathan Taylor. But yeah, I mentioned the Washington wide receivers. Jalen Coker is kind of interesting to me. Wide receiver 2s usually have pretty good numbers against the Jets because Sauce Gardner is covering the number one guy. So all it is ownership, right? So Dak, let me see. Let me see what we get. See where we're at right now. So Dak is projected the third highest owned quarterback. Jaden Daniels number 1 and Patrick Mahomes number 2. So, like, he's a higher owned quarterback, but he's still going to be lower owned. Like, Jaden Daniels is going to have a majority of the quarterback ownership, and then Mahomes, and then Dak. So, as far as the actual tournament aspect, like, more people are going to be playing Dak in a tournament. So, like, if you wanted lower ownership, just guys that I mentioned, like, Bo Nix is going to be lower owned, Spencer Rattler is going to be lower owned, Caleb Williams is going to be lower owned. So you could go those routes. Dak is going to be one of the higher owned players. It doesn't mean that it's a bad play. It just means in tournaments he's going to be in more lineups than none. So yeah, if like you're playing cash, he's a great play. If you're playing tournaments, I mean it's still a great play because he's going to be lower owned than Jane Daniels, and he has this potential, right? Like we've seen it. He has this potential for a high 20, low 30 point game. That's just how Dak is. He's obviously going to have some stinkers, so you have to be cautious with that. But yeah, like I think Dak's a great tournament play. Like you put him and CeeDee Lamb in. Obviously, a lot of people are going to be playing Jonathan Taylor. A lot of people are going to be playing JT. So if you're not playing JT, it's a great route to go. Um, but yeah, Jalen Coker at 4K. Troy Franklin at 3,900 if you want to double stack with Bo Nix. Other than that, no one else down here really caught my attention. Hunter Renfrow got ruled out, so that's kind of why I like Jalen Coker this week at 4K. I don't know why Hunter Renfrow got ruled out. So the thing about tight end, I think I could double check, but I think the ownership for tight ends is pretty well balanced this week. So like Zach Ertz is now, I think, playable. So Fannin seems like he's in a great spot. I love Fannin. At 3,900, it's just that weather is going to be ugly, so that hurts. Like if it was a good weather game, like Fannin's in an amazing spot and you're probably playing him. But this situation is Quinshon Judkins is going to be in a lot of lineups. You can't play Judkins and Fannin. You just can't. Like I don't see that really working out. It could. It very well could. I just don't see it working out. And if that game is just totally terrible to where like they can't pass the ball at all, I mean, you just punted a 3,900 tight end when you had other guys like a Zach Ertz, who's $100 cheaper now. He's in an amazing spot against Dallas. Michael Mayer at 3,500, Mason Taylor at 3,400. Like, those guys are all really good plays. If you could pay up for Trey McBride, I think he's in a good spot. I don't think you have to anymore, but he's in a really good spot. Yeah, Warren is just dependable. It's just, I always worry about Derwin James against tight ends, but I mean, Tyler Warren has been killing it with Josh Downs out. You figure that only makes Tyler Warren a better play. Tucker Kraft at 4,900. I think he's in a really good spot against Arizona. If Josh Jacobs is out, kind of like Tucker Kraft then. A little bit more. I think Chig's in a really good underrated spot as well. He's cheaper than Taylor and Michael Mayer. I think he's in a pretty good game script, and I mean his targets have been pretty consistent so far this season. I think he's in a really good spot. I will mention Hunter Henry. Like he's put a couple stinkers in a row. I think this is one of those games where he gets 10 plus points. So definitely route. Jatavion Sanders 3,200. Is another guy I'm getting in lineups. And then defenses, like I said, you guys can play pretty much any defense you want. So, anyone got any questions, any lineup help, anything like that you guys want me to go over? If not, end the stream here so you guys can get your lineups in. Remember to put your season long lineups in as well. That's usually a easy forgettable one there. So. But yeah, that is pretty much where I'm at with the slate. So yeah, tight end is just very odd. Just very odd to me this week. Like Zach Ertz is just now. He's playable. I'll give him that. He's gonna be in. No Debo, no Terry, so yep. All right, so yeah, I'll end the stream there. Thank you everybody that tuned in, watched. Hope this helped. Hope the videos throughout the week helped as well. Whether you use my videos as like, hey, like, I agree, or hey, this guy don't know shit. Like, I'm okay with that either way. But yet again, thank you guys for the support. It's been crazy this year. Like the support you guys have given me, just tuning in, subscribing, like It's been amazing to see the support I've gotten this season. So hopefully you guys are having a good DFS season, and hopefully it continues to go well if it is. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you